These words were spoken by Elder Vasilios Kafsokalyvitis in response to his spiritual child, Styliani, who shared news with him in late 2014 when his health had significantly deteriorated. The Americans are like snakes. They do not allow the world to live in peace, but they will face severe consequences. Time is running out, and the weather is worsening. Difficulties lie ahead. They seek to turn us against one another. May God protect us. On another occasion, Elder Vasilios Kafsokalyvitis remarked, America will become partial. Here, we will face many hardships, though not the same as those in America. Eventually, America will fade away, devoid of life, neither here nor there, nowhere at all. Father John Kalaides used to say about America that America will cease to be a superpower. First, an event will occur that will bring the nation to its knees. Following this, America will suffer a severe geological and biological disaster, marking the end of its status as a global superpower. A Russian known as Saint Aristocles had foretold that America will feed the entire world, yet in the end, it will face destruction and lose its status as a global superpower. On November 15, 2023, Metropolitan Neophytos of Morphou was interviewed by Panagiotis Dimopoulos to discuss the prophecies of the Holy Elders regarding World War III. The interview was broadcast by RIK, during which Reverend Metropolitan Neophytos of Morphou shared his insights on America, and he said, Come America, the great Babylon who prophesies of it. St. John the Theologian 2,000 years ago. Americans know this. You will pay the highest possible price by being overwhelmed and drowned by your shores caused by various modern weapons. What do the Russians call them? These bombs, Poseidon and Satan, you hear the names, that will raise waves of enormous height and hit like tsunamis on the coasts of America. In fact, that of the America, it is my interpretation. It will be approximately, we don't know the year, but the mark when the great war between Russia and the Western countries will be in progress, at the Straits of Bosphorus. Then the Westerners will hear that there has been a terrible geophysical phenomenon in America. That America now, said the holy Elder Vasilios of Kafsokalyvitis, listen how beautifully he said it in few words, America will remain partial. Let us not stay in St. Paisios, we do him wrong by blaming him with all the paraphilology and false prophecy, because there is also false prophecy, and we blame St. Paisios. No, this is unfair to the saint. So many others have said the same things, and before Agios Paisios. St. Aristocles, now that I remembered him, who lived in Odessa and in Moscow. He was Russian and spent some time as a pilgrim in the Russian monastery of Mount Athos.
What did he say?
And he said, "O America." When did he say that? That's the terrible thing. The 18th, 1918. "O America, you will feed the whole world and you will starve."
They are still not hungry, Father.
Well, ask the Americans.
You say these things.
Ask the Americans how much the price of oil, wheat has risen. You want me to tell you about a prophecy that I have written here that's cute too?
Good.
These are the words of Elder Vasilios of Kafsokalyvitis. He died in 2015, so he said these things before 2000. Evil will come from the West and quickly. People of other religions will dominate. They will make monsters and marks. There will be a civil war. This is said for Greece, but there will also be a civil war in America. In political anarchy, that is, during elections. Because they won't want to hand over the power. It's mainly the big cities that will be affected. On February 16, 2024, journalist and theologian Dionysius Makris took the initiative to reach out to the revered ascetic monk of Pangaeus, known as the Elder of Pangaeus. His encounter with the elder led to a compelling reportage, capturing the wisdom and spiritual insights of this respected figure. This piece was later published in the renowned Stylos Orthodoxia newspaper, appearing in its March 10, 2024 edition, under serial number 263. The elder of Pangaeus told theologian Dionysius Makris the following: "The Russians are well aware that a radical political change in Turkey means for them a general cutoff from the Middle East, in which they have many interests. They also know that Turkey's turn toward the West and Washington will strengthen NATO's military power in its southeast. In any case, the Russians do not want to have hostile countries in the Black Sea." The reason for the declaration of war with Turkey will be the closure of the sea straits. Russia will also understand that Turkey's attack on Greece and the loss of the Second Territory do not necessarily lead to the disorganization of NATO's southeastern wing. On the contrary, it will strengthen with the involvement of the Turkish army. And this is because the USA has made sure to have 2 large military bases in Suda and Alexandroupolis that can do their jobs well without needing the support of the crumpled Greek army. The Americans are ruthless. They will sacrifice something smaller to achieve what they consider to be greater according to their interests. They bill anyway, without the hotelier. God, my child, will speak powerfully at the time when they will believe that their plans have succeeded. Rather, it means the old geophysical shocks, namely the Great Earthquake or the eruption of the Yellowstone volcano. The following prophecies come from an elder who prefers to remain anonymous. Since 2011, this elder has been sharing his insights, offering perspectives on significant global events. Here is what he has mentioned regarding the United States of America. In 2012, the anonymous elder shared the following insight. Half of America will be engulfed by the sea, with even the lands of the indigenous peoples disappearing beneath the waters as the San Andreas Fault ruptures. Strange occurrences, described as signs and monsters, will extend all the way to Canada, leaving uncertainty as to whether Canada itself will remain above water. Whatever remains will be under the gaze of King John. On October 13, 2012, he stated, "A great evil is being prepared on a global scale, an attempt to cause a massive earthquake. However, those behind it will fail, as the very place where they plan to unleash devastation will be the one to sink." A little over 6 months later, on June 7, 2013, the elder made the following remark regarding America. "America, the drowned man is not counted, for he is already dead." Now, fast-forwarding to 2020, the elder began to provide more detailed clarifications. On April 2, 2020, he stated the following. "Half of America will be engulfed by the sea, with even the lands of the indigenous peoples disappearing beneath the waters as the San Andreas Fault ruptures, described as signs and monsters, will extend all the way to Canada. I don't know as to whether Canada itself will remain above water or succumb to the depths." On June 8, 2020, the elder said, "The fall of a great American empire will commence with a widespread uprising and will ultimately be completed by a devastating earthquake along the San Andreas Fault." On January 29, 2021, the elder provided further clarification, stating, "In America, great and terrible events will unfold, possibly igniting widespread unrest among the people. Yes, even a civil war. If such a conflict erupts, it will not remain within the traditional political framework, but will extend across racial, religious, and ideological divisions, affecting groups such as whites and blacks, Christians and Muslims, and other societal factions. The consequences will be severe, with immense losses stemming from the fury that will surge through the population. This anger, driven by political, religious, and racial tensions, will culminate in devastation. Nature itself will respond, with destruction emerging from the San Andreas Fault." In June 2021, the elder made the following statement. "To prevent a conflict in the Black Sea-Crimea region between Russian and NATO forces, a civil war may erupt in America, an inevitable uprising whether now or later. Many deeply troubling revelations will surface. Developments will unfold rapidly, with the military beginning to round up members of Congress and the government." On September 14, 2021, the elder made the following statement. "The global economic collapse will begin in America. The dollar will become worthless, and the euro will vanish entirely. This financial breakdown will occur within an hour, at midnight, while the world sleeps, unaware of what is unfolding. In the words given, this moment will mark the lockdown of the banks.